Okay, want to discuss Rosh Hashanah a little bit. So I'm just going to start off a little bit. There's a gaon that says that when a person does an Aveira, all Amaisim are written in the Sefer. What Sefer is it? So it's Shloisha Sfarim Niftachin. There are 3 open Sfarim. What is the Sheirish, the root of these Shloisha Sfarim Niftachim? It says in Sefer Yetzirah, and the end of Paragal of Mishnah Aleph, it says Bas Sefer, Vis Sefer, Usfar. It says 3 times that lashon. 3 times that lashon. So what is that showing? 1. 2. When in Sefer Yetzirah, when they split up the different types of letters, so the first one it says is called imais, which are what we call a shirish, like the root of what it is, and those isis are called emesh, which is avir, mayim, and eish. Avir, mayim, and eish represent those things that Rabbeinu Shlomo used first to create the world. Avir, mayim, eish. After that, without going into all the details, there are 22 isis, really 27 if you include the last ones at the end of letters, like what we call Manspach. But then there's a middle section which is called Beget Kafris. Those letters of Beis Gimel Dalid and Kaf Pei Reish Tav, those have doubles, like Kaf Chav, Pei Fei. And then you have the rest, which are called Yechidais, which is, I'm just going to say it in abbreviation, but you don't have to get them all. Hois Chatil Anas Atzak. So, but right now we're discussing mostly is the Gimel Imais, because we're talking Rosh Hashanah, and Rosh Hashanah is the Sheirish of the whole year, and it was also the Sheirish of the Bria. So what happened by Emesh? Rabbeinu Shlomo first created the air, and then he created the Mayim, and then he created the Eish. Right? So the way it would work is that Mayim is Miloshen Shamayim, right? And it's made from Eish and Mayim. That's right. So the Elyon is the Mayim, and the Tachton is the Eish, and the middle is the Avir. And we have also on Rosh Hashanah we have basically 3 types of people. We have Tzadikim, we have Beinanim, and we have Rishon. So as you know, the Tzadikim go straight to Gan Eden. They get the din on Rosh Hashanah. Beinanim, everybody becomes a Beinani up until Yom Kippur, and then the Risham also get the din. It's rather machlokes. Some say that they get the kasiva and the chasima both on Yom Kippur. So now, so there's the avir that we're talking about over here. Says the gaon that it's chokak. All your maisim are engraved in the avir. If you want a mashal, how do you engrave in air? It's not something tangible. I guess think of a computer, right? You have letters on the computer. It's not tangible, but it's there, right? So if you think about it for a second, if you go online to look at your bank account, so yeah, it doesn't mean you have money. It says numbers. That's all it is. It's not real. So if your maisim also will be the same thing. All the maisim and Tavim v'nech kokin, it goes on you. And what happens to it? The guy uses a lashon, it becomes a bria on its own. And that bria on its own goes to what we call a maskala meaning a scale. Scale has 3 parts. It has a kaf schus, has a kaf chayva, and it has a chok haloshen, meaning it has that line that goes down in the middle of it. And so, right now, we have Shloisha Sfarim Niftachim, we have Emesh, which is Eish Mayim Avir, and now we have a whole nother Madrega, which is going to show us how it works out. So, as you know, I don't know if I'm going to finish the whole thing, but there's many different Aleph Bezin. There's, we have a Atbash, there's a Albam. So in this Aleph base of Albam, which is the Aleph becomes a Lamed, the base becomes a Mem. So if you go a little bit further down, so you have a Ches becomes a Kuf, a Tes becomes a Reish, and a Yud becomes a Shin. So the ches and the tuf and the resh, the tes and the resh is really easy. That's representing the beinani, because the beinani, what is tuf resh? Tov and ra. So he's in between. What's the yud shin? It says in the pasuk lahanchil ayav yesh. So that's obviously talking about the tzaddikim. And the chaf vav, the chaf kuf, as we know, is referring to the Rishonim, and I forgot exactly how, so I have to look it up. But in the meantime, Chaykas Matri Gehenim. Yeah, that's actually right. It says right here. Okay, so that's the Rishon. Shkoyach. So that's how you see there's always three. And why does everything have to be three? As you know, in the Bria, when a person's created, it's called klas klilim betlas, which means that the baby in the mother's stomach is folded up. What's folded? So you have the head going down, but then you have the klas, which is the chesed, gevura teferes, chesed right side, gevura left side, teferes the middle, and it's folded up into the nahi, the netzach being your right thigh, Haid being your left one, your side being the bris, and they're folded into each other is tlas klin petlas. So everything in the bria is going in threes. So, and the reason it's always going like that in threes, because it's representative the way that Hashem created the world for us, that it's all b'pchinas a scale, kaf schufs, kaf chayva, and chak haloshen in between. And you see the same thing, Shemayim and Oretz. You have a Shemayim on top, you have an Oretz on bottom, and you have Avir in the middle. So what's our goal, Rosh Hashanah? The goal, Rosh Hashanah, obviously will be to move it over to be Mamtik the Din, and move it over to everything should be Kafschus. And that, I didn't say I'm just saying a little bit musari. So we should all be Zeicha to be Mamtik es Hadin, and to be Mevatel es Hadin as well.